I just got home from work, but the problem is, the moment I stepped inside, my son ran up to my wife and said, "Mommy, while you were at Grandma's house, Daddy had a lady over and..." But before he could finish, my wife smiled and said, "Sweetie, let's wait for Daddy to freshen up." I knew something was off. "We'll talk over dinner, okay?" But I played it cool. Later, as we sat at the dinner table, I took a bite and said, "Wow, honey, this food is amazing." She smiled sweetly and replied, "I made something special just for you. But first, let's hear what our son was saying earlier." I nearly choked on my food. What was that, champ?" My son excitedly said, "Well, Mommy, when you were at Grandma's house, Daddy had a lady over, and then he told me to play quietly in my room while they went to the bedroom." My wife's smile disappeared. My son continued, "But I got curious, so I peeked through the door and I saw them hugging and kissing. Then they lay down on the bed and..." "Honey, wait! I can explain everything," I blurted out. My wife stood up. "Don't bother, I'm calling my lawyer first thing tomorrow." "Sweetheart, go on. Tell Mommy exactly what happened next." My wife crossed her arms and glared at me as my son continued. "And then they did..." "They did what, sweetheart?" My wife snapped. My son grinned and said, "Then they did what you and Uncle Mike did when Daddy was on his business trip last year?" Silence. "And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I got full custody of my son."